Hi, hello, and welcome to a new episode of the New York City Summer Series. And today we are going to be exploring Tribeca. But first of all, hi, if you're new here, my name is Flor. I live and work here in New York City, and I love creating these videos for YouTube, showing you around all the different neighborhoods and area so you get a better feel, a better idea of what it's like to live here, to work here, but also to come here for a vacation, maybe during summer. As I mentioned earlier, today we are going to be exploring Tribeca. The name of this neighborhood means triangle below Canal Street. That's what Tribeca stands for. The funny thing is that if you look it up in a map, this is not actually a triangle, but more of a trapeze shape. Do with that information what you wish, but I wanted to let you know. And this area, as well as any area that's more in the south of Manhattan, is one of the oldest parts of New York City. Is where the city first originated. So this area, right around the 1600s, it was a Dutch farm. Then it changed as the city changed. At one point it had more like a market. So from its roots as a farm, it went to a market. That market, or something like similar to that, still exists to this day. And then at one point, when the city constructed the Holland Tunnel that connects New York to New Jersey, this area really had to change because they had a tunnel and a highway, and it was like a mix of everything. So they had to rework the area, construct new bridges, tunnels, and all that. But I feel like they did a great job, and the area turned out beautiful. And not only that, it's expensive. I just saw today this post right here talking about the prices of a home in New York City in different neighborhoods, and the price for Tribeca is right up there. But walking around the area is free, so that's what we're going to do today. We are going to be walking around the neighborhood. We're going to be exploring some stores. We're going to be having lunch because I haven't had lunch yet, as usual. And also gonna have maybe some coffee or iced coffee later today. And now let's go out and explore.
Don't need someone to save me, no, and don't come running to blame me. From miles away I can tell that something's off. The way you look and how you pause when you talk, I think I said enough.
First of all, one of the places that you really need to visit if you're ever in New York City in the Tribeca area is this fire station right here. As you're seeing, this is a fire station that is used in the movie Ghostbusters, and I'm talking about the first movie like many years ago. But every time a new movie comes out, there's a lot of people that come here, lots of like new signs, new things written on the sidewalk. It becomes like an attraction on its own again. So if you're a fan of the movies, I certainly loved the original movie when I was a little kid. I suggest you visit here, especially a really nice place if you have kids. Most kids love fire trucks, they love fire stations, so perfect place to visit.
Let's be honest for a second. Yeah, you're being over your head, babe. 'Cause there is no one other than me that can make you feel the way you feel when I hold you. I think I said
was right here in this place called Gotan. I came outside to film because inside was really, really loud. I came in peak lunchtime and there was no way I was filming inside, even with a microphone. So I actually first found out of this place about 3 or 4 years ago. So this street right here, this is Franklin Street, and this street right here, this is Varick Street. So if you walk that way, which is Varick, and you go towards the north of the city, 2 blocks from there was the main location for New York Fashion Week for the past like 7 years or so. So 50 Varick Street was actually where most of the shows happened, where you had events, the main venue. So this area, including the Ghostbusters fire station that I showed you before, are actually like very familiar to me because I was coming into this area during September, during February for Fashion Week. So I feel like I walked this streets multiple times before. So now that I had lunch, we are gonna walk around. There's a saying that we have in Argentina that says panza llena, corazón contento, which translates to full belly, your heart is happy. I think it could be like something like belly full, heart full, something like that, which basically means that once you're fed, you're okay, you can go on with your day, have fun, have a good time because you have food in your belly. Anyways, let's go walk around. Another stop that you definitely must make if you're ever in the Tribeca area is this. This is a skybridge. This street is called Staple Street. It's actually a very short street, just 2 blocks. So 1 block this way, 1 block that other way. And this is a sky bridge. It's basically a bridge that's connecting these 2 buildings that you can see right here. Back in the day, this used to be a hospital. So on one side, you had the hospital, like emergency rooms. And then on the other side, apparently it was the laundry room of the hospital. So they would use this bridge as a way of connecting, bringing around carts and stuff. But the hospital moved many years ago. So now this is a residential space. And believe it or not, someone actually bought it. So they bought the lofts on one of the sides, then they bought the loft on the other side that has the bridge that connects it. So now they have like a massive home that's like 3 stories on one side, the bridge, and then 1 floor on the other side, which is worth like millions. I will leave more info about this purchase and this like very particular home here in New York City down below in the description box. But this is definitely a street that you need to visit if you're ever in the area, and also because around this part of Tribeca, you can still see all the cobblestones. So these cobblestones are from many years ago. They were laid here in the early 20th century, so before the Civil War, and actually they've been replaced in many parts of the city because they're not the best, because they're kind of like a hazard to walk on them because they're not all the same. So in some parts of the city, they have been replaced, and you can see like the regular like streets like you would see anywhere else in the city. But I feel like even though they're kind of hard to walk on, especially if you're wearing heels, I feel like they add to the charm of this neighborhood as well as Soho, where you can also see them. But anyways, write it down. Staple Street Skybridge, you need to visit this.
From my window, sun's coming up like the day before. You're like a stone on my pillow. I don't make a sound when I shut the door. You don't have to wake up yet. We can spend all day in bed.
I was honestly dying in the heat and being in the sun, so I decided to stop for a drink. And I'm here at this place. It's called the Laughing Man Cafe. This is a cafe that was founded in 2009. So at some point before 2009, Hugh Jackman, the actor, he went on a trip to Ethiopia with his wife, and he basically, I wouldn't say discovered, but really immersed himself into what producing coffee is really like where the beans come from and stuff. And when he came back to New York, he really wanted to get into the business of everything that has to do with coffee and coffee making. So along with two partners, they found this coffee shop, the Laughing Man Cafe. Wanted to bring a bit of what he learned back there in Ethiopia and the lab for coffee into a shop. So from what I read, the company is no longer run by him. He's no longer involved, but he was a founder, and I feel like maybe that's a reason why he became popular, at least at the beginning. But now I would say it stands on its own. I actually had never been to this place before, which is weird. I used to go to a hair salon that's like a couple blocks away, but I've never actually stepped inside this place, and it's very, very good. I got an iced caramel latte, very good, really recommend it. And now they also have food by this place called Slate, so they have a couple of food options. So if you're in the area, maybe it's worth stopping by. They have AC inside, which is good, but also it's kind of loud inside, lots of people, so I prefer to step outside to film. So right now I think I'm going to just enjoy some of this alone time, drink some coffee, read my book, and I'll check up on you in a couple minutes when we keep on walking around the area.
Gone all the way baritone. Shed the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed.
As we're heading off to our next location, I wanted to point out two things. First of all, that here in the Tribeca area, there are two streets. One of them over there, that one is called Duane, and this one right behind me is called Reed. That might sound familiar because Duane Ready is a very popular chain of pharmacies here in New York City. They started with just one store on Broadway between Duane and Reed, and then as time passed, they grew, they got more popular, and now they have plenty of stores. They are a very, very popular chain here in the city, and this is where the name comes from. And the second thing is my outfit, my look of the day. I am wearing a dress from H&M. This one, I would say, is not really my style, not something that I would typically wear, but as soon as I saw it and then when I tried it on, it felt like very like Disney princess, and I love that. I love the cinch waist. I feel it looks great. And I, of course, pair it with sneakers. I usually wear two sneakers when I'm wearing dresses in summer. One of them are my Nike Air Force Ones, and this other pair that I'm wearing today is like a very similar pair to the Air Force One, but it has a different name. It's like slightly different, and it's a lot less expensive. I got them from Famous Footwear, and they're like around, I would say, like half the price as a pair of Air Force One. So it could be a great option. I'll link both pairs down below, as well as this beautiful, beautiful dress. Now we are heading off to a bookstore because I feel like we need to explore bookstores in New York City. I love them, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you love them as well.
I know that I haven't been who I was. I am supposed to be the one you can trust. I feel so useless 'cause I let you down. I hope there's some way I can make it alright, 'cause I know that you deserve much more than this. If you give me one more chance, I swear I'll try my best to always be there. And I want you to know that I'm lost without you. I'm known without you. I hope I can show what you mean to me, 'cause I don't know what to do if you go. I just don't know what to do if you go. I've been so selfish and made you believe that you're not good enough, but you're all I need. I take you places that you've never been. I would give you the world if you let me try again. Yeah, just give me one more chance. I swear I'll try my best to always be there. And I want you to know.
So I just left the mysterious bookshop, which was our last and final stop for today's video. And what I like to do when I'm planning these videos a couple days in advance is that I try to learn more about the story of the neighborhood, and I also try to find which places, which spots, whether that's a restaurant, a cafe, a bookstore in my case because I love them, which of those places I would love to visit or to revisit if I've already been to them. And one of those places was this mysterious bookshop. I've actually been to an event right next door and I hadn't seen this bookstore, and what I love about it is the concept. It's all about mystery books, about thrillers, all about that, and you see how it's like the perfect decorated bookstore with all this like signs of Police and Cross. Like, I don't know, I really like the ambience of the place. I feel like bookstores in general in New York City, they do such a great job trying to make you feel right at home if you love books, or helping you if you're like not really into books but you're looking for a gift for someone else. Love finding this place and getting to explore it. Also, they had AC and it's very hot today, so that was great. So I really love making these videos. I really love discovering and rediscovering the neighborhoods in New York City, and I hope you're liking it as well. That is going to be everything for today's video, and as I always say, I will see you on the next one. Bye! And welcome to a new episode of our Summer in New York City series. It's me, it's Flor, and today we are going to be exploring Nolita. So first of all, there are 3 facts that I wanted to share about this neighborhood before getting started. Number 1 is, of course, the name Nolita. If you're wondering where that comes from, I know it sounds like very trendy, and Nolita actually means north of Little Italy. Same as Tribeca, Nolita is also short for a phrase that means where the neighborhood is located, and that is north of Little Italy. Fact number 2 is that this is actually a very small neighborhood. Its limits are Houston Street to the north, Bowery Street to the east, Lafayette Street to the west, and Broome Street to the south. And the third fact about this area really has to do with the 2 previous ones that I mentioned, and it's that this area, Nolita, actually used to be part of Little Italy. Little Italy is located to the south of Nolita, and around the middle of the 1990s, people started to feel like this area did not feel as Little Italy that much. It felt a bit different. Some of the very Italian restaurants had closed. The people that live here had changed, and they felt like this area needed to be renamed. Actually, in 1996, the New York Times ran a section like proposing new names for the area, and Nolita was the one that seemed the most original, that stuck with people. So since around that time, this area got this name, and this neighborhood is now Nolita. Now that you know there's like 3 main facts about the neighborhood, the question is, of course, what is the plan for the day? So first of all, we are gonna go grab a late lunch because I'm hungry and I want to eat lunch. So I would say that lunch is a very pressing matter. In this area, I'll talk more about that later, but it has some of the best restaurants of New York City in my opinion. I have eaten at so many restaurants around here. And then one of my big plans I would say for this day is to visit Elizabeth Street garden. This video and this vlog, I feel like it's going to be more about the vibes, you know, about the feel of New York City, how it feels to walk the streets, to eat at restaurants around here, to be sightseeing, to be visiting New York City, and not so much about the history. I love to talk about the history of New York City. You already know that. But this time around, I'm more about how this neighborhood feels, how it looks like, what you can find in here. If you happen to be in Nolita anytime soon during a trip, and if not, as always, you can just feel like you're walking through this neighborhood with me right here. Now, let's go out and let's explore Nolita. Let's go! So I found a quiet spot here on Elizabeth Street Garden, and I wanted to tell you more about the story of this place and why I wanted to come and visit it. So I know I said at the beginning that we would not be talking history on this vlog, but we need to. This used to be a public school. It was built in the early 1900s and it worked as such for around 50 years. At that time, they decided to demolish the school and they built apartments in its place. But the area where the playground of that school was, it remained undeveloped and basically abandoned for some time. In 1990, the person that was running the gallery that's located right next door to Elizabeth Street Garden, can't remember his name, but I put it up here. He asked the city to list this place and to convert it into a garden. And he did that. He started by planting trees. He incorporated lots of art that's very peculiar and not something that you see quite often in city parks. But because he had a gallery, he thought that was something that could be part of this garden. And after 15 years or so of working on the garden, he decided to make the garden open to the public and it was accessible through his art gallery. Some time passes and in 2012, the Department of Education, which was still the owner of this plot of land since a school was here 100 years ago, decides to transfer the ownership of this land to the Housing Authority of New York. And that's when the real trouble starts, because that transfer of ownership means that the city, its housing department now owns this and they want to build a building. Around the time neighbors organized, they found the Elizabeth Street Garden community as a non-profit organization. The garden started being accessible through the street rather than through the gallery, and they started working towards basically saving this space. This was 2012, so 12 years ago, and you might be thinking, okay, they made it. I mean, I'm in this garden, 12 years have passed, something must have happened. But the truth is that that's not the case. The city moved forward with its plans, and as you probably know, anything that's built by the government usually takes a lot of time. So every approval process takes time, there are many steps, so things move very, very slow. And this whole plan got into a new phase in 2019. That's when the neighbors of this area, the organization, everyone involved into preserving the space place, they decide to sue the city. So they filed a lawsuit in order to stop the city from being able to demolish this place and build apartments here instead. Now, 5 years have passed since then, and in June of 2024, a judge finally decided to give the city permission to demolish Elizabeth Street Garden and to build houses here. In the city's defense, what they say is that this would be affordable housing. So that's why they think building in the spot is very important to allow people to have a house, have a place to live, and for that not to be very expensive. But on the other side, the community that runs this garden and the nonprofit argue is that this green place is a sanctuary. It's something that does not exist in the area. You have nothing like it. This area, if you look at it in a map, you'll see that there are not any green spaces at all. And it's really a part of this community where people come to meet their friends, to have lunch, to read a book, to work, to spend some time alone or with someone else. And having it demolished and destroyed after so many years would really be something tragic. A lot of people have signed a petition to save this garden, and there are a lot of famous people also that have spoken about this garden, like Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese and Patti Smith, people that maybe used to live around this area, that used to come here as kids, or that lived in this area when this did not exist, but think, oh, it would have been great when I was a kid to have a garden like this one. People that have come here for inspiration, for dates, for a fun time with friends. I really feel like in New York, when people come together as a community to save a place that's part of a neighborhood, that's part of the city, that's been here for so many years, it usually turns out right and things end up being preserved and saved by the community and for the community, for all of us to enjoy it now and for many years to come.
It never rains in California. The sun is always shining bright. People are smiling, making plans, hiding behind their shades, and you're doing the same. No rain, no flowers, nothing's growing where you're at. Heart is fire, but baby, I bet you're cold without me, even when it's 90 degrees. Without me, I bet that you can get any sleep in that bed, lying awake. 'Cause I'm not there beside you, keeping you warm at night. No, I bet you're cold.
I said earlier on this video that I have been to this area multiple times and that I have eaten at lots of the restaurants in Nolita. So I want to recommend some of them in case you are ever around this area and you're looking for some place to grab a bite. So first of all, the Butcher's Daughter. This place is perfect if also to note if you're screaming in the background or water. I'm at a playground, not inside the playground, but right next to it. So that's why it's kind of loud. But anyways, the Butcher's Daughter is perfect. It's a vegan spot, but I've been there. I'm not vegan, I'm not vegetarian, and I love the food that they make. Everything is so tasty, so good, great ambience. The place is beautiful. They have a couple of locations around the city, but this one is one of my favorites. The other spot that I went to is called Noodles Lab. This is perfect if you love Asian food, if you love everything like ramen and noodles. If that's your vibe, then you're gonna love this place. I was there, I think like maybe 5 years ago or so. It's probably not my favorite, but just because that food is not my favorite, but I really liked it and the prices were pretty good. Then another place that I visited, it's called Little Ruby's Cafe. This one is right around the corner from where I'm filming, and I was there actually a few months ago with Austin. I showed it on one of my vlogs. It's a really nice spot. It's like a typical New York spot where you can have like all day brunch. You have your toast and your eggs and all like breakfast items that are very New York. I really like liked it and highly recommend that one. I've also been to Café Leon Dore. I only had coffee over there, but I liked it and I recommend that one as well. And I've also had coffee at Sant'Ambrose, I think that's the name, or Sant'Ambrose. I never know how to pronounce it correctly. I had iced coffee there, I think 2 years ago, and I loved it. It was my first time actually having iced coffee. I've only had frappuccinos in the past, and I liked it. It introduced me to the world of iced coffee, believe it or not. So those are the places that are my favorites and the ones that I recommend in this area. Of course, it was not possible to include all of them on this vlog. I actually ended up going to a place I've never been before, which is Cafe Gitane, and that's where I had lunch today. I still wanted to highlight these 5 places because I've been there before. I like them, and I think you should go over there as well. Signing off on this vlog, there are 2, I would say, fun facts that I wanted to share about Nolita. First of all is that San Gennaro, which is an Italian fest, it still takes place in Nolita, even though it's an Italian fest. Part of it is on the blocks that nowadays are Nolita instead of Little Italy, and that's because it started back in the 1920s when everything was considered Little Italy, both Nolita and what is still now Little Italy. That's one of the fun facts that I wanted to share. The other fun fact is that, do you know St. Patrick Cathedral, the big cathedral on 5th Avenue? Big, popular, everyone knows where that is, everyone visits that on your visit to New York. Well, the first St. Patrick's Cathedral actually used to be here in this area until it was moved up to 5th Avenue. And the place where this cathedral was then turned into a regular church since it was not a cathedral anymore. But after a few years, they renamed it and it's now called the Old Cathedral of St. Patrick, or Old St. Patrick Cathedral, to kind of honor its history and what it once was. I read about those 2 things earlier today or at some point last week, and I thought they were worth mentioning. There may be things that you would like to know if you're ever in this area for yourself, or maybe because you want to seem like the person that knows everything about New York City if you're visiting with someone else. With all that, I am now going to say goodbye. I really hope you enjoyed this vlog. Really hope you like this video. If that is the case, of course, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, so you can get to see new videos every single week. And you can also go ahead, follow me on Instagram as Flo Pereira, as you're going to see right here. With all that, that's my cue to say goodbye. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!